Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. This program is suitable for general viewing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is indeed a very beautiful Friday morning of 19th July 2024. A very good morning to you and welcome to Horizon TV. My name is Zamzam Ahmed and this is the Muslim Insight, a show that brings to you weekly news update as well as impactful conversation. But before that, let's get the headlines.
We have these people migrating from Europe after, what happened to them, the pogroms, the Holocaust, as they say.
The ethnic cleansing of Palestine. Between the pages provides a deeper understanding of historical account of the expulsion of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War.
يومئذ للمكذبين.
Girls Quran competition. Kirinyaga County to host the National Girls Quran competition, with the winner expected to represent Kenya at the International Quran competition in Dubai.
Put aside political differences that we have, let us work for Garissa County.
Community empowerment. Garissa Women Representative calls on leaders to focus on community empowerment. Thank you so much for keeping it Horizon TV. My sign language interpreter is Mariam Jamaluddin. Now on to our top story is that Between the Pages, a book club with a vision to share Islamic knowledge by reviving and promoting reading for a successful holistic life, held an engaging book club session at the Jamia Mosque, Nairobi's multi-purpose hall. The event focused on a book named The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine by Ilan Pape. The book reviewed provided a deeper understanding of historical account of the expulsion of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War.
The Between the Pages Reading Club held an insightful discussion focusing on the book, The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine by Ilan Pape.
We have these people migrating from Europe after, what happened to them, the pogroms, the Holocaust, as they say. They migrate to Palestine in the late 1800s. In 1917, we have the Ottoman Empire basically collapsing, as we've been told. And now, between 1922, the British mandate of Palestine, during this time, Palestinians are welcoming the Jews to Palestine. They have not realized that these people had an objective way before, way before 1900, that they are going to occupy Palestine. And these are things that are actually mentioned again in the book.
The book delves into the 1948 Palestinian Exodus, a historical event central to the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The discussion explored Pape's arguments regarding the forced displacement of Palestinians during the creation of the State of Israel.
Where are the Muslim countries? Where are the Arabs? Don't they have militaries? Don't they have trained soldiers? Don't they feel the pain that we feel and other Muslims feel? That is the question that begs to be answered. Then, Sheikh Jafar, you wonder. You find you can easily draw a line between the people, Ashab, the public, and the decision makers. You can draw a line. You find the people are for the people of Palestine and what is happening. And I keep on saying, you don't have to be a Muslim to sympathize with the people of Palestine. You just need to be a human being. Where is that humanity of the leadership of the Muslim countries and the Arab countries?
Residents of Gaza have been enduring layer upon layer of trauma for decades. Atrocities like the seizure and demolition of homes, oppressive policing, unlawful killings, detention without trial and torture all inflict profound psychological damage.
I want each one of you to imagine that today we cannot go back to our homes. We have no homes. And when we get to where our homes were, whoever we left at home is no longer alive. And if they're alive, we are going to pull them from the rubble. How does that sound? Horrible, isn't it? Now, that is what they are living on a day-to-day basis. So you can imagine the amount of trauma that those children are going. A research that was done just before this current war showed that 54% of the Palestinian children were going through post-traumatic stress disorder. So what it is that what they are going through, and for the length of time that they have gone through, it is, we are being told that they do not have the normal PTSD, like they cannot be treated the way we normally treat PTSD.
In the digital age, social media has emerged as a pivotal player in shaping public perception and influencing the dynamics of modern conflicts.
At an individual level, what you and I can do, at a social level, what you and I can do, and at a familial level, what you and I should be doing. To begin with, social media. Digital activism is the most powerful form of activism in the current era. Social media, one of the geopolitical analysts called it the PR jihad. It's the PR jihad. If there's anything that has actually brought Israel and its army to its knees, is the social media influence, is the digital activism. And unfortunately, the most active people on social media are the non-Muslims.
Speaking during the book session, Jamia Mosque Nairobi's Imam Sheikh Jamaluddin Osman emphasized the importance of standing in solidarity with the Palestinian people, calling on Kenyans to boycott Israeli products as a form of peaceful protest against Israeli oppression in Palestine.
I have a problem with my Somali community when it comes to buying KFC, buying Coca-Cola. It's like, I don't know, is it that they don't understand or they're oblivious? Do you know the most profitable branch of KFC is in Isli? And they open till 2 a.m. I think it's about time, Sheikh, in the pulpits in the mosques in Isli, these things to be mentioned. And I think if it comes from someone like you, it will be taken heavily, and it will be taken differently compared when it comes from me. And in fact, I would ask you to have a meeting na Masheikh wa Isli.
On Monday, Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich opposed releasing Palestinian prisoners as part of any potential Gaza ceasefire agreement with Hamas. Israel is holding over 9,000 Palestinians in its prisons and has killed more than 38,000 Palestinians since October 7, 2023. Israeli actions have triggered a humanitarian disaster and an ongoing trial of a genocide at the International Court of Justice. Salma Salim, The Muslim Insight.
Thank you so much, Salma Salim, for that report. Now moving on to other stories is that in a startling revelation, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura announced that the country has incurred a staggering loss of 6 billion Kenya shillings in just 1 month due to the ongoing Gen Z protest. The nationwide demonstration, primarily driven by young people, have disrupted economic activities and strained public resources, leading to significant financial setbacks. Speaking to the media in Nairobi, Mwaura said several businesses were also looted and property destroyed by goons who infiltrated the peaceful protest to cause chaos. Aban Shihemi with more report.
In recent weeks, the country has witnessed an unprecedented period of Gen Z protests, which have placed the country at the edge of new political transformation. Addressing the press on Thursday, government spokesperson Dr. Isaac Mwaura reaffirmed the government's commitment to dialogue process, urging parents to take the lead in this role.
On behalf of the government, I therefore make a call to all of us to embrace patriotism and nationhood and stay engaged with one another without violence and demonstration, and be focused and committed to building a peaceful progress in Kenya. Let us reject self-seekers whose aim is to gain from the foreign donors and sponsors who do not wish well for our country, and we get back to our daily livelihoods and build our nation with love, peace and harmony, with an eye on cohesiveness and unity in our society.
The protests, which began as a response to the escalating economic inequalities and lack of job opportunities for the youths, have gained momentum over the past few weeks. Young protesters, many of whom are facing unemployment, have taken to the streets in major cities, demanding systematic changes.
As a government, we therefore make a passionate appeal to our children and our youth to reconsider their plans to uphold to hold the demonstrations, since that which they were clamoring for has been acceded to, and that these demonstrations have been infiltrated by goons whose aim is to destabilize the country's peace and prosperity.
Local businesses have reported significant declines in revenue, particularly in areas heavily affected by protests. Mwaura said the country continues to lose billions of shillings as the protests caused disruption in businesses' activities, damage to infrastructure, and increased costs of maintaining public order.
On the other hand, we cannot forget the business people who have suffered huge losses as their businesses remained closed during the demonstrations, losing billions of shillings. We wish to empathize with them as they strive to recoup their lost incomes. Overall, the country has lost approximately 6 billion shillings, according to KRA, as a result of the demonstrations, and fears abound that if the protests continue, the economy will have a negative impact in this new financial year as well. And you know we have a huge tax hole as a result of the non-passing or the rejection of the finance bill of 346 billion.
The Gen Zs took to the street to protest against the opulence displayed by government officials and seek for the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024 and good governance.
The President, as both the head of state and head of government, has taken a number of steps in response to your concerns regarding governance of our country, which include, but not limited to, the rejection of the Finance Bill, where your voices were heard, and the controversial bill was dropped, reflecting the power of collecting advocacy. The reduction of the expenses of the office of the First Lady and spouse to the Deputy President, and this action portrays the government's commitment to streamline and ensure transparency in its operations and responding to your calls for fiscal discipline and responsibility.
They are now calling on President William Ruto to resign from office, arguing that the old political class is responsible for the country's economic status. Reporting for the Muslim Insight, I am Aban Shihemi.
Elsewhere in Kirinyaga County is that the Darul Quranul Karim Society, in collaboration with the Darul Majlis Al-Islami Kenya, on Sunday will hold the Girls Quran competition at Masjid Isa bin Mariam, Baricho Town in Kirinyaga County. The competition will bring together participants from madrasas and institutions from across the country, with the winner earning a prestigious opportunity to represent Kenya in the International Quran competition to be held in Dubai. Shadia Ramadan with more reports on this.
The Quran competition, that includes the memorization, recitation, and interpretation of the Quran, aims to motivate Muslim youths to memorize the Holy Book and contribute to creating a generation that adheres to the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah.
ويل يومئذ للمكذبين.
Darul Quranul Karim Society, in partnership with Darul Majlis Al-Islami Kenya, will hold the annual Girls Quran Memorization Competition on Sunday, 21st July 2024 at Masjid Isa bin Maryam, situated in Baricho Town in Kirinyaga County. According to the chairman of Darul Quranul Karim Society, Sheikh Hazam Ahmed, the competition will bring together participants from madrasas and institutions from across the country.
Hao viongozi wetu waweze kukaa chini na kusuluhisha ile matatizo ambayo wako nayo, kwa sababu nchi haiwezi kuendelea vile inavyoendelea hivi sasa, sababu imefika wakati mpaka mashule zinafungwa, masomo hakuna, kazi hakuna, biashara hakuna, na hali inaendelea kuwa ngumu, sababu msabaka kama hii wengi wa wanafunzi hawakuweza kuhudhuria kwa sababu ya hiyo shida ya maandamano.
The participants are expected to have memorized the entire Quran, be fully conversant with tajweed rules, hail from a recognized school, madrasa, markaz or college, be between 17 to 20 years old, and a holder of a valid Kenyan passport.
Mshindi leo anapatiwa cash money ambayo sisi kawaida huweka siri, na anapatiwa certificate pia kushiriki katika hii mashindano, ambayo inamsaidia sana wakati anaenda kuendelea na masomo yake mbele ama akienda kutafuta kazi huko mbele. Na juu ya hiyo ye anapata nafasi ya kushiriki mashindano ya ulimwengu ya Dubai, ambaye akibahatika huko kushinda anapata zaidi ya shilingi milioni 10 na zawadi zingine kando.
Started in 2000, the Quran competition is meant to help participants showcase their unique skills in the art of Quran memorization, which aims to nurture young minds in preserving the Quran and its message.
Mpaka sasa imekuwa zaidi ya miaka 23 na ya wasichana saizi iko na miaka 7. Kwa hivyo tunatarajia wasichana na vijana wa Kenya watazidi kufanya bidii ili kuwakilisha nchi ya Kenya.
Last year, the winner of the Girls Quran competition organized by the Darul Quranul Karim Society represented Kenya in the International Quran competition held in Dubai, where she emerged among the top 10 winners. Shadia Ramadan for Muslim Insight.
Thank you so much, Shadia Ramadan, for that beautiful report. Now moving on to the northeastern region is that Garissa Women Representative Odgun Siad has called on political leaders to focus on empowering community rather than relying on tokenism and handouts. Speaking at the Garissa County offices during the launch of the county-wide GAF project for the year 2023-2024, Siad emphasized the need for sustainable empowerment through tools of trade. Among the programs launched were car washing machines, boda-bodas, beauty therapy and salon equipment, as well as desks and lockers for schools. A total of 127 groups received 21 million shillings in support. Muhammad Shakombo with more reports.
Gunsia, the women representative Garissa County, highlighted her office's efforts in empowering women, youth and people with disabilities through small and medium businesses, urging leaders to use their positions to create meaningful change and to focus on empowering the youth who make up the majority of the population.
We are trying to put the youth into a space that they don't think of vices like being radical or doing something bad or at a wheezy. So we are trying to keep them busy with some of this. Previously, you saw me doing a lot of tournaments, peacekeeping tournaments, and keeping the kids busy. So border borders are something that creates jobs for them. At the moment, we don't have something better, but for now, tunawapea border borders wafanye kazi zao as we look for better opportunities.
She also stressed the importance of taking youth to polytechnics to acquire technical skills for self-empowerment.
So I would like to appeal to the county government, put aside political differences that we have, let us work for Garissa County. And for colleagues, the fellow MPs, I know they are doing quite a good job also. We cannot reach the whole county at once, but they are doing a job. Please increase employment. You can give a kid handout, they will go buy Mira, because 2,000 shillings, you cannot do anything with it. You go buy, so you are putting the kids into more dangers and abuse of drug and substances. So let's create jobs for the youth.
Praising the impacts of the project, Hassan Hares, GAF coordinator for Garissa County, has assured that monitoring and evaluation mechanisms are in place to ensure beneficiaries use the items and money effectively.
So tuligawia jamii vifaa kadhaa kama vyombo vya kuoshea magari pamoja na matangi, kama pikipiki, kulikuwa na vitu kama ya kujirembesha kwa warembo, na kwa kupatia desks mashule na viti. So vile mlikuwa mkiona community walikuwa wakiongea na kwamba hizi projects ambayo huwa tunafanya ziko na impact mingi sana kwa community, na tunatarajia kuendelea mingi, of course kulingana na vile tutapata fedha kutoka serikali kuu.
Muhammad Shakombo for Muslim Insight.
Still in Garissa County is that Girl Child Education Crusaders, in partnership with HorizonTV Kenya and the Mastercard Foundation, have reported progress in the fight against teenage pregnancies and early marriages through a program called Imarisha Msichana, which has engaged community members, including religious leaders and young men, to champion on the cause. A 2022 study revealed that only 11% of the girls in the county are enrolled in education, a stark contrast to 80% of boys. Harrison Ochola, FAWEX coordinator for Garissa, emphasized that cultural practices such as early pregnancies, school dropout rates, and female genital mutilation (FGM) continue to hinder girls' access to education in the region. Despite these efforts, stakeholders emphasized the need for continued community involvement to address the low number of girls in school and to change cultural attitudes that hinder girl child education. Illiterate parents yet to accept and appreciate the importance of educating girl child have been termed as the biggest challenge hindering girl child education, hence calling for centered efforts to improve the situation. Teenage pregnancy, alongside HIV and gender-based violence, poses significant challenges for youth in Kenya, with the government seeking to eradicate them by 2030.
Tulianza hii program in the year 2020, and in fact, Garissa County, we work with 8 schools. And when we were starting this program, rate of teenage pregnancies were high. And I'm telling you, the dropouts were also experienced. They were also high. But from 2022 up to date, I have reported 0 pregnancy incidences in the entire schools we are working with. In fact, I didn't have any cases of girls who are pregnant in those schools. So that one alone can tell me that HorizonTV Kenya has made a progress from 2022 up to now.
So one of the objectives of this Imarisha Msichana project is to deliberately engage the boys and young men to be champions of girls' education. And that is why we are here today, to impact these young boys, men with skills and knowledge, and to have what you call mindset change, to be able to think about girls' education, to be able to think about creating a good environment for the girls to access education.
Tulikuwa na changamoto mingi kupitia kwa masomo ya msichana. Manake kule vijijini wale wazazi wetu hawajasoma, na ili masomo yaendelee vizuri ni lazima kuwe na jinsia tatu hapo zinafaa kuwakilishwa katika yale masomo. Kuna mzazi, kuna mwalimu na pia kuna mwanafunzi. Sasa HorizonTV Kenya wamechukua jukumu hili, wakaleta mwanafunzi pamoja, mzazi pamoja, wasee wa kanisa, sheikh, tukawa pamoja, tukajumuika, tukaelimishwa mengi jinsi tunafaa kuimarisha masomo ya msichana.
Now that story from Garissa County in the northeastern region brings us to the end of our first segment of the Muslim Insight. Join me in the second segment as we do the review of the Friday Bulletin. Stay tuned.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on Horizon TV.
Kiumbe dhaifu lakini jasiri.
Alitunukiwa sura nzima,
sura inayompa daraja yake inavyostahiki. Sharti ajigambe.
Naam, na pepo ipo chini ya nyayo zake.
Mpamba nyumba na nyoyo za wapendwa wake.
anayebeba majukumu yake pasina kupinga.
Mtazamaji, je, unamfahamu anayezungumziwa?
Bila ya kusahau hadhi yake na haki zake.
Ungana nami Rahma Swaleh na Sheikh Juma Amir,
tukuelimishe na kukupa mwelekeo katika maisha ya ndoa
kwenye kipindi Dira ya Mwanamke,
kila Jumapili saa 2 usiku majira ya Afrika Mashariki ndani ya Horizon TV.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying here with us at Horizon TV. My name is Zamzam Ahmed. This is our second segment of the Muslim Insight. And before I took a short break, I said that we will be having Friday Bulletin Review. And in studio to do that, I am joined by Sheikh Salim Charo. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to Horizon TV. I know this is not your first time, but
Shukran jazakallah khair. I'm honored to be here again and again.
I hope you are having a wonderful morning today.
Alhamdulillah, it's a bit cold, but alhamdulillah.
Mashallah, that is really great. Health is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, we are having the Friday Bulletin Review. And definitely it is normally our norm to start with the front page story. But today I want us to break to break that norm. We start with a story in between the Friday bulletin. And our story that we are going to begin with is on page 2, the story that says, Court declares SHIF Act unconstitutional. The High Court sitting in Nairobi has declared that the Social Health Insurance Act unconstitutional. Like, this is one of the achievement, or rather of what President William Ruto said he will do for the Kenyan. Under the Big Four agenda, this is under the affordable health. What do you have to say, or what is your take on the court declaring SHIF as unconstitutional?
Shukran once again. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ba'd. I think one of the problem, I don't think the process was, number one, was adequate. And just like we've seen the other day, yes, the Kenya Kwanza government had, you know, a manifesto, and there were priorities, areas that they were addressing. And but one thing it lacked is that, you know, they tend to force things on Kenyans. So, and you know, there are a lot of issues, and even looking at the grounds in which SHIF has been declared unconstitutional, but you find it lacks, you know, it does not really address what will benefit the basic, you know, the common mwananchi, just to say. And also looking at also at other aspects is that you know, it has been a trend that these things, because there were issues that were raised by some of the stakeholders, and you know, first time it was also declared unconstitutional. They returned it to Parliament. They did a bit of nini, and then they brought it back. But still, we are there again. So we really don't know. I think they should learn to involve, you know, number one, to have public participation, and to involve all the stakeholders, because we don't want such things to get to the point where we've gotten to.
To cut you a bit short, we can see that among the manifestos of the President of the Republic of Kenya, that is President William Ruto, we can see that he wants to improve the health sector of the country. He also wants to improve different sectors that really touches the community at large, the citizens at large. For example, like the health sector, like the infrastructure, like the education center, you know, sector, sorry. So you find that from before it was SHIF, it was National Health Insurance Fund. What is the difference between NHIF and SHIF?
I think it's a good thing, but that you know, the government has in mind that there are issues that need to be addressed. Number one, from health, and two, education. But you know, sometimes we really fail to understand that some of the things, you know, once we have a change of regime, you know, some of the things, you know, are scrapped. And looking at NHIF, and there was an element of Linda Mama, which was later came to be scrapped. And now with the introduction of the Social Health Insurance Fund, which, according to the government, you know, covers all the loopholes, or whatever that was not covered or catered for in the previous NHIF. But still, I think there is a lot of you know, a lot of politicking in them. Yeah, because there's no way you can have an act of parliament twice being declared unconstitutional, and yet it has gone through public participation, it has gone through the floor of the House, and then it has been assented to be law. asserted by the president himself, and then for it to be declared unconstitutional, you know, there is a lot of, you know, push and pulls, and I think some things need to be done. You know, we remove politicking and, you know, a lot of corruption and stuff, because what is happening, it is affecting Kenyans. You know, it is affecting Kenyans. Look at the deduction. Are they, you know, are they equally distributed? So if you earn less than, let's say, from 50,000 and below, your salary is, you know, drastically affected. And for those who earn upwards, you know, they don't feel the pinch, and also they are, in fact, they are the ones who are also going to benefit even more than the ones who, you know, who feel the, you know, the deduction. So I think we really have to get to a point where every Kenyan must get these services equally.
So,
yes.
So does that mean that there is no positive impact possibly to the people who are below the middle-income earner?
No, I don't see any big impact to the,
So maybe even before, we've heard or seen like so many people are complaining that even the NHIF is not covering the whole family. What I used to know is that 5 members of the family, and maybe you can see there are families that are more than 5.
Exactly, that's one of the loopholes that we have, because yes, the government had tried also to have, you know, if I to mention it, okay, to okay, the family planning and stuff, which not more so well received by many Kenyans. So you'll find that there are families which are a bit larger, and if you are there to restrict that this is the number of family members that can benefit from a single contributor, you know, and again, when we bring in the issue of, for us Muslims, we are polygamous, you know, there are people with 2, 3, 4 wives, you know, and also there are other dependents in between. So what happens to them? Am I supposed to have even, you know, two or more contribution towards the, so these are some of the things that really need to be looked after, and you know, bring on board everyone. And you know, many people in urban areas, at least looking at their families, they are a bit more there, but looking at rural areas, not many families that you can be in a position where you can say you can restrict them. Yes.
Today I want us to look a bit deeply on the Big Four agenda, or rather the manifestos of the President William Ruto. Other than the SHIF, like he was saying, it will boost the health sector. Let's talk about something else. We've seen that he's talked about affordable housing, building affordable housing units for the people of the country. But again, we can see that only few will get the affordable housing. But again, we see that all Kenyans who are working must pay tax, or rather we call it housing levy. Housing levy,
yeah.
What's your take on that?
Okay, it's a good thing that, you know, there is a will, and that the government has recognized that we need to improve the housing sector. And yes, they've done something, because they've introduced the housing levy.
Okay.
But so far as you're talking, we've not seen a new, you know, a new development of such. And on the other hand, I really try to wonder, because in the previous regime, we had the Bomayangu, and we've seen just here Park Road and some few other areas. Yeah, we've seen, and no Kenyans were deducted. So we really wonder where these funds came from. And now that it became, let me say, obligatory for all Kenyans to also to be deducted the housing levy, of which after all these contributions, the one thing that a very big question remains: how are Kenyans going to benefit, those who contributed and they don't end up having. And we really know what happens, because you cannot tell us that people are going to have or own these houses through lottery. You know, I think if we are also to talk about Islam, we are not even allowed to be part of. But also, we've seen also with the other projects, there are people still either in the government who benefit from such projects, and those who are really meant to benefit from such, they end up not benefiting from anything. We saw the other day the housing project in Kibera during the Kibaki regime. That's how it ended up. The other time with during Uhuru's time. So that's how it ended up. So we've not seen the most, you know, the common mwananchi ule wanataga Wanjiko benefiting from such. At least if we will have seen a person either from Kibera, from Madare, from those informal settlements benefiting from such. And not only one person, but at least we get a, you know, a substantial number. You know, that's when then we are going to say that this is working. But just to say now we have this, you know, in papers, and those who are benefiting are others. So definitely that, you know, it's not working to how it should be.
Okay. Again, still on this, we can see that the president said he will end extrajudicial killings. But you can see that there is a story that has been going around, the Kware mutilated bodies. And we can see that CIPK calls for action over killings. Maybe who are to be blamed for that?
I think we bring it back to the president. And he's been on the record to double speaking. You know, he came and when he get rid of the former director of DCI, he promised, even during his speech after being sworn in, he had promised that it is the end of extrajudicial killings, which had affected so many Muslims then. And he promised, and there are some of the, I don't know, within the DCI, they were, you know, but it's very unfortunate to realize that, you know, we are still in the same, you know, time, the things that we were told that we should not even expect of. So, and I'm really wondering what the government is doing about this, because it's either they are the perpetrators, or they don't know what happened, but they need to investigate. And you know, these cat and mouse games, you know, bringing, you know, a suspect from where, you know, planting a person, and you know, these are not kind of the things. I think we are beyond that as Kenyans. You know, even as security agents, you know, as a nation, we are beyond that. You know, these are not type of games we want. And here we are talking about people's lives. These are, you know, the lives of the citizens of Republic of Kenya. You know, and we don't know what crime they committed for them to, you know, to be in the state that whatever had been done. And you know, the sad part is that you know, instead of the government investigating and trying to retrieve all the bodies that maybe were you know, were dumped there, you know, it ended up, you know, being put on fire, and you know, as if they were trying to erase and delete any evidence that would be, and which is also very sad. I think the government should come out clearly and tell us, are they against their own people or what they want? Because this is not a new thing that has been happening. They should tell us, is it, you know, I just want to ask, just like any other layman there, is it a sacrifice that they offer in every regime? Because we've undergone this as a country. At some point we thought this was an issue that was affecting only Muslims. But now what we're experiencing is these are totally different things. The other time we saw River Yala, we saw River Tana. Today we are talking of Kware. And what is really happening to this, you know, to this country? Security agencies should come out clearly and stop all these, you know, funny games. And
but we can see that police has announced that they made a breakthrough in the probe.
Is it by arresting the suspect?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think even Kenyans believe that he's a suspect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, from what we've heard, from what we've seen, I don't think.
Maybe what's your take on the killing? Is it something that one person can do, or is it a collaborative effort?
Because when a person gets lost, there is a procedure.
Okay.
And there's no way, and in fact, we've seen we've seen security agencies abducting people. Even during the recent protest, we've seen there are some of them which have been, abducted on camera. There are people who have been abducted, even senior, politicians, being as those who are also against the government of the day. We've seen. So they need to come out clearly and tell us what is happening. They don't want, people to express their own views. They don't want people to do this and that. And I really don't think if we get to this point where people would be able to express themselves. So what does that tell you? So we need to just keep quiet and wait as things, as things happen, which I don't know which type of community they'll be running. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Elsewhere, we can have another story on the Mombasa High Court declines to lift ban on Muguka. Is it in the position of the county government to do so, or it is the national government?
This should be an initiative of both the national and county government and all arms of the government. They should ensure that any harmful thing should not be allowed in the country.
Okay.
And Miraa and Mogoka, because they're in the same family, has been declared as a drug by the UN. And that's why it was banned in Europe, in UK, and even in the US, where they even have what we call hard drugs. But even despite that, they are, they are consumers of such hard drugs, but they don't allow Miraa on their people. They do not allow Miraa on their people. Why is it that now we are the people who are benefiting from this? And, people coming out, claiming that that they benefit from it. So kama ni hivyo basi hata the other time we had Wajakoya calling for for cannabis sativa to be legalized. So then that should be done. But and also for the court coming in with its independence. These are politics, and this is Kenya, and we know it very well. They should not let them look at what best interest is there in the public, because at some point the magistrate reported that, or in his declaration, he cited that it lacked public participation. But there have been an outcry from the public on, the harm that Mogoka had caused to the people, to families, and so even to the economy of the people of Mombasa. So there are few beneficiaries from certain counties, but it's also affecting the the economy of the consumers of Mogoka. And these are things which need also to be put on the table. Because you don't look at it, with one eye and, closing the other eye. Let us be objective, because what benefits are we having? Are we getting from it? Yes.
So, like wherever there is a problem, definitely there is a solution. We've talked of banning the use of Muguka in Miraa. What could be the other solution to that? Because we can see that the business is something that is beneficial to the country's economy. Maybe if we ban, if the government bans the Miraa and Muguka, what could be the other solution in terms of boosting the economy of the country?
The solution is they uproot all the Miraas and Muguka. They put anything that is beneficial. This country has been relying on tea and coffee. Let them plant any crop that will be beneficial to themselves and to the economy of the country. Yeah, we've seen it happening here in Roaka. People uprooted whatever crops they had, and they got into real estate. And you know, these were some of the thriving real estate areas. So I think they should uproot this plant and bring something that is beneficial to the people. Yes.
Maybe we can switch that one. Okay, before we switch, we can have it under the Big Four agenda, the food security. The government said that it will give subsidized fertilizer. Like, if we have these people plant something else in their farms, could the government, because we can see that many people are really complaining that they have not gotten the subsidized fertilizers.
Yeah, indeed. And there are a lot of things that we've heard from the subsidized fertilizer, because this was also one of the issues that were being addressed by the president and during his campaign, and once he ascended to power. And we know in the previous years we had issue of we did not have enough rains in the country, and that's the year that we started experiencing a bit of rainfall and some enhanced and increased rainfall, and to a point where they said it was being distributed to the farmers. Yeah, so maybe luckily or unfortunately, those in urban areas and those who are not farmers, we are not in a position where we can come and say that yeah, it's true farmers received. And if there are farmers who received, it's a very small number. And but eventually it turned out to be, whatever fertilizer that was being distributed, that was being sold, was not even actual fertilizer. So it turned out to be another thing. So and I think the first person who should also be looked at into the issue of fertilizers, the president should also answer, because he's been at the forefront. So saying that they are subsidized fertilizers, and then it turns out to be that there is a scam that is ongoing. So it's either he goes after those who are doing this whatever monkey business that they are doing, or he carries the cross for misinforming the farmers and Kenyans, because it's affecting the food security of this country. Yeah, because it's affecting, because once we, you remember the other demonstration, what were they about last year? It was about, it was about, there was a lack of, what the term that was being used, because...
sincerity?
No, it was about inflation, about, foodstuffs, the basic foodstuffs had hiked, and all these issues. So, because once we are unable to produce enough food, we'll get into importing food from abroad. And also this costs the country. It's for whatever that was supposed to benefit the country, now it turns out to be, benefiting other countries. So I really don't know why the government, with all its technocrats, with all the professional and experts that we have, are unable to sit down and think about the food security of this country.
Because I don't think there is an essence of having the fertilizers, but we don't have the seeds.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, let's talk about something else. In this world, we are living under the history of our Prophet, of our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his teachings, the hadiths and everything. And on page 5, the headline says, the Prophet's absolute honesty and sincerity. What can you term the state of the government's honesty and sincerity?
that's what we are lacking as a country. And I've mentioned that the president has been on the record to double speak. You know, the promises he made during his campaign period and what he's actually implementing, they're totally, you know, in total contrast. So, and what we really want is honesty. But again, what I want to say about it, there's a hadith that says, the way you are, a community or a society, that's the reflection of the leaders that you have. So he was democratically elected by the people of Kenya. He was not, you know, he did not come out from another planet. So we've seen him as an MP, we've seen him as a minister, and eventually as a deputy president, eventually as a president. We've seen him. So whatever allegations and accusations against him, whether they are true or not, we've heard about them. So, and that's what Kenyans chose. And those are the people and decided, no, this is the kind of person that we want. So again, let's also look at ourselves. Are we honest people? So as we are accusing him of being dishonest and double speaking and so on, so are we what we are accusing him of, or are we different from that? So let's also look at ourselves. Whether, you know, when you talk of corruption in this country, you know, is it only the government that is corrupt, or even we people are also corrupt? Has it also turned into us? You know, have we also normalized corruption? So as we are saying that our government is corrupt, but what about us? You know, who benefit from the services that are given by the government? We are the ones. So when we say these people cannot serve you without giving them something, so when you get to, when you go for those services, do you give? So this is where the conversation should start. So once we are clean, now that's the moment now we can start even saying that the government, the head of government and so on is like this and like that. And the other thing is, when it comes to elections, what kind of leaders are we electing? Yes.
Okay. Due to the limited time we have, I would like us to end it there. And thank you so much for coming here today and putting some insight on the Friday Bulletin. And to you, my viewer, wherever you are watching us right now, there are a lot of story that is in the Friday Bulletin. Make sure that you get yourself this copy so that you can know what is going on around the country, what is going on around your community as well. Make sure you grab yourself a copy, inshallah. Until next Friday, same place, same time. My name is Zamzam Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.